Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of my 1GP2 Twisted Bow flipping series. On this account, I'm attempting to earn myself a twisted bow from scratch, or to be more specific, 1GP. I'm giving myself exactly 1 year to do this. If I haven't completed this challenge in time, I'm going to be giving away all of the money that I have earned on this account, as well as finding the spiciest pepper and eating it for you guys on livestream. This week was absolute insanity. I still can't really believe it. I found an item that, I'm not even kidding, I think made me over 50 mil, maybe even close to 100 mil on a single item, and it was only 2 mil. So after this episode, I'm going to say things are looking pretty good. But before we jump into it today, this video is actually sponsored by Raid Shadow Legend. Forget everything you think you know about mobile games, because one of the most ambitious RPG projects of 2019 has just been released. Introducing Raid Shadow Legends. Playing Raid is one of the most immersive experiences you'll find on a smartphone, and it can really only be compared with some of the largest PC and console titles. And what's better yet, it's totally free. Raid has all of the features that you expect from a new RPG title, including an amazing storyline, some awesome 3D graphics, giant boss fights, PvP battles, and hundreds of champions to collect and customize. Raid is growing extremely quickly, with over 10 million players worldwide that have downloaded the game in less than 6 months. Personally, I do actually think this game is pretty fun. However, it does have a near perfect rating on the App Store with almost 300,000 reviews, so you don't really have to take my word for it. My favorite champion is the Excruciator, because she kind of reminds me of Sarah Kerrigan from StarCraft, and the level of detail on these champions is extremely high for a mobile game. There are some really big plans for new updates over the next 6 months. Check out this roadmap that shows a sneak peek of some upcoming features, including new factions, a tag team arena feature, and even a new clan boss that you'll be able to fight with your clan mates. And if you want to find me in game, I'll be under the nickname FlippingOSRS. So anyway guys, if you are interested, go to the video description and click on my link to receive 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. And thanks to Raid for sponsoring today's video. So we are starting today's episode off at around 245 mil, so we're pretty close to a quarter of the way to a twisted bow. I mean, assuming the price doesn't ever change. But I gotta say, that twisted bow is going somewhere, just not really sure where. Alright, so we're going to start off with a few flips we did last week. We're going to do Guardian Boots once again, and the Bandos Godsword Ornament Kit, and we're also going to throw in the Saradomin Godsword Ornament Kit. We should already know the margin for the Ornament Kit and the Guardian Boots, as this is technically only a few minutes after the last episode ended. We're also going to do the Evanto Potion with around, I think, a 40 GP margin. We're going to go for a cheeky Ring of Stone flip after the last episode. It's still really cheap at 1.4 mil. Now, someone actually told me that could be because of another content creator, Mint Mad Cow, who is using the Rings of Stone with a clan. Not really sure. We're going to still try to buy them for 1.4 mil because that's still almost half what their normal price is. We're also going to do 16 Odium Wards, as the margin is over 100k and the items come through pretty quickly. And the very last item I'm going to do is the Ring of Gods, which we're going to use the rest of our money for. We're going to go ahead and do, I guess, just 3 of them, and that's going to be it. We'll check back in a few hours and see how these flips go. I think our best flip this time was actually the Evanto Potion, which we got around 1.1 mil on. Not bad. We have more Rings of Stone, but I don't know, we can't sell them off, so I think we're going to quit with this item because it's just taking up too many offer spots for too long. We had around 500k in profit on the Bandos Godsword Ornament Kit, around 400k on the Guardian Boots, 530k on the Rings of God, and 180k on the Odium Ward, for a total profit of around 2.7 mil. Okay, first up, we're going to buy some of the from the kilt. We're going to go for 8 of them once again. Next here, the Hydra Leather has a pretty decent margin of around 100k, and the limit on it is a bit higher, which I like. Next up here, we're going to try the Quorum Potion, a pretty decent margin, and we're going to go ahead and buy 20,000 of them for around 1275. We're going to go and do the Guardian Boots again. Still has around a 70k margin, which isn't too bad. And in our very last offer slot here, we're going to go for the Dragon Plate Body Ornament Kit for around 21 mil. We're going to go ahead and do 2 of them. That is going to be it for now. We'll hopefully come back with some successful flips. Alright, today is August 24th, and nothing too exciting here. None of the flips really worked overnight, but I did end up getting around a mil in profit or something like that. We're going to try to flip the enhanced teleport crystal once again. The margin is way less than when it was initially released, but Still good for its price point. It has around a 200k margin, which is really good. We should be getting some new items released this Thursday. I believe there should be at least one tradable item, which I think is the Trouver Parchment, or the Trouve Parchment. We're going to put an offer in for an Anguish Ornament Kit Flip, Ranger's Tunic, as well as the Brimstone Ring. Has a pretty nice margin, and that will spend most of our money there. And that'll be it for now. So I ended up getting a very surprising but amazing flip on the Ancient Wyvern Shield. I just popped it in to sell for around 17.7 mil. And I think we sold them for like 18.5. There was just a freak kind of dip in the market, or the opposite. Actually, we sold it for 18.7, which means we got over a mil in profit per shield, giving us 3.5 mil in the Wyvern Shield. As well as we're primed to make around 1.2 mil on the Teleport Crystals, which means we got an easy 4.7 mil with barely any work. We have a few items we're trying to sell off, the Master Wand, the Opal Dragon Bolts, and the Ring of Stone. That being said, we're going to try for another 3 Ancient Wyvern Shields, and the hope is that happens again somehow. And we're just going to put a few more offers in to make sure our offers are full, but that's probably going to be it for today, and we'll come back tomorrow. Okay, it is the evening of August 25th, and we have a few successful flips, but still a bit lackluster overall. We did end up flipping more of the Wyvern Shields, and we got around 600k in profit. Not terrible. At Infinity Gloves, we got 380k on, and the Dragon Plate, we got 441k, which gives us around a 1.4 mil profit. Not amazing, but it is something. We're going to be gone for the next day or two, so I'm not going to be able to update my offers. Honestly, just so much has happened this week. We're going to be going at a higher pace. So anyway, I should be back on August 28th with hopefully a substantial update. Alright, we are back, and we've been doing a bunch of flips over the last couple of days. Pretty consistent. Hopefully we'll actually be able to successfully sell everything off for once, and we'll be able to actually get a temperature check on how we're doing. Our best flip by far this time was the Ring of Nature for around an 840k profit. Everything else was kind of just peanuts, but we still got around 1.6 mil in total. We're also in the process of doing a item set combination flip, I believe, on the Carol's armor set. Taking a while for that one to sell off. We also have another 4 Rings of Nature we're selling off. Again, for around a 120 or 130k profit on each one, which is pretty good. So we're just going to go ahead and buy another 8 of them. Next up here, we're going to put an offer in for the 3rd Age Vambraces. We're going to go for 8 of them, investing around 40 mil-ish in that. Once again, we're going to do the Brimstone Ring, and we're going to go ahead and do 12 of them. And last up, we're going to invest in the Amylized Crystal, and we're going to go ahead and do 20,000 of them, investing around 20 mil. Yes, day 100. That means we're almost 1/3 of the way through this challenge. Well, we're going to have to see how on track we are at the end of today's episode. Keeping in mind that we spent quite a bit in the first month toiling with very little money, so things should be a little more exponential from here. So for today, we ended up getting a few successful flips. We got a pretty decent one on the Ring of Nature, and we're continuing to do more. Getting around 130k on each one, or around 840k in profit from the ones we did buy. The Brimstone Rings kind of tanked it, unfortunately, but we still made around 270k. The Amylized Crystal, we got around 420k on, giving us a total profit of around 1.5 mil. It's still a little lackluster, but that is okay. We still have a few things left over here. We're going to sell off the Ring of Nature as well as the 3rd Age Vambrace. I'm really interested to see how much money we have, but when things just aren't working out that way. So I'm going to go ahead and do a Justiciar armor flip. We're actually able to manually check it now. We have the funds to do that because we can actually afford 2 at a time as well, which means we can go ahead and do a bunch of these ideally. It does appear to have around a 400 or 500k margin, which is pretty good. We're going to go ahead and do 2 of each of them. And again, we're just buying the individual Justiciar armor pieces, combining them together, and selling the completed set for a bit of a profit. Along with that, we're going to put in for a few more Rings of Nature. And next up here, we just price checked an Odium Ward, which has a margin of 50k, which isn't bad considering it's only a 2 mil item. And we'll go ahead and do 7 of those. And last up here, we're going to put in for a Fury Ornament Kit, and we're going to invest the rest of our money there, and that looks pretty nice. We'll come back hopefully a bit later today. Alright, it finally happened. Everything is sold off. We can actually see how much money we have. We ended up flipping the Justiciar armor set a few times today. I think we did it 5 times in total, for an average a 300k profit on each combination, which means we earned 1.5 mil in total, which means we earned around 1.5 mil in total. For 67 mil invested at a time, that's not too bad. We also ended up getting around 350k in profit on the Odium Ward, So let's go ahead and collect everything here. We're up to 264 mil, which means we're 20 mil up from where we started today. That is a little better than I expected, but we can do better than that. So I went ahead and checked the margin for the Vial of Blood, and it's actually a 200 GP margin. So we're going to go ahead and do 26,000 of them, which is double the buy-in limit. I don't think the margin will stay that big for that long, but we're still going to give it a try. We just price checked the Gilded Plate Legs. 50k on this isn't that good, but we're going to do 7 of them. Next up, we're going to do the Malediction Ward, which has a pretty good margin still once again, and we're going to do 7. We're going to do the Lantidine Potion. We're going to try to mix it up a bit with a few high volume items as well. Now I'm kind of thinking of trying to buy the Blade of Saldor. We're going to try for around 112 mil, which is definitely a undercut, but I really don't want to overpay for it, so we're just going to keep that offer in there for maybe a couple hours and see if we can flip it. Next up here, we're going to do the Zalcano Shard. Now it's very cheap, down to 380k, and probably going to continue to drop more, as it's just a cosmetic item, and a very common one at that, but still has a 30k margin, which for its price is really good. And last up here, we're going to put in for a few Barrows Teleports. The volume for this really isn't that much, but sometimes big offers come through for them. So we're going to go ahead and do the Anakara one and the Cemetery Teleport, and we'll be back a bit later. So we had some amazing flips at the tail end of August 28th, the main one being the Vial of Blood, getting almost a 200 GP margin on a fairly inexpensive high volume item is amazing. We got around 2 mil in profit off of that. We also got around 350k on the Gilded Plate Legs, and a really nice margin on the Justiciar Chest Guard of around 450k. We've sold 1 so far, and we're primed to sell another 4 of them. So just there, we made about 3 mil in profit, around 2.8 mil. So we're going to go ahead and put in a few different offers overnight, but it's kind of the calm before the storm, because tomorrow the new items come out, and I gotta tell you, something incredible happens. Let's skip ahead to tomorrow and start flipping the brand new items. So with the new content update this Thursday, there were 2 new items added to the game, the Truver Parchment, or the Truve Parchment, and the Swift Sword. Now the Swift Sword is too expensive as far as LMS points go to actually be in the game yet, but the Truver Parchment is, and our first margin check is 1 million GP. I'm not quite sure the volume of this yet, but we're going to go ahead and start buying them for hopefully around 1 mil. Okay, so we did have a few things overnight. I might as well just go ahead and recap on the Justiciar armor set. We're getting a 400k profit. So that's 1.2 mil on the Justiciar Chest Guard. And we have a few other items we're looking to sell off, including the Serp Helm, the Dwarf Weed, and the Infinity Gloves, as well as the Enhanced Teleport Crystal. So we're going to go ahead and put a few more offers in, but the main focus is on the new items. Okay, we got our very first Parchment, and we're going to try selling it off for 1.9 mil, which is still around a 800 to 900k profit. I guess 890 would be the exact amount. And if we sell this off, we'll get our money back. Hey, there we go. We sold off our very first Truver Parchment for 1.99 mil. Amazing. We got another one also, so we're going to hopefully finally get a profit from this item. We've so far just broken even. There we go, we got 6 of the Truve Parchments. Hopefully we can sell these off, because that is an amazing margin. We are doing a few other things at the same time here, including some Armadillo Crossbows, some high volume items, but they're not that important. Everything seems kind of inadequate compared to the margin we're getting on this new item. There we go, guys, we sold off 6 of them. That is so good. Actually, we did 8, now that I think about it, for an 890k margin on each one, which means that is over 7 mil in profit just on that single flip. That is really exciting. We're going to continue with this item as long as humanly possible. As long as the margin stays relatively good, we're going to do it. Just to keep track of things, I'm going to put a counter in the top right of the screen, because it gets pretty confusing as I'm doing this in a very hectic manner, trying to get the best margin possible and not worrying about the recording too much. Okay, the margin has shifted slightly, up to 1990 into 1260. Still a really good margin. I think we got another 2 of the Parchments. Man, these items are coming through really quickly. I think we've flipped another 4 of them for around a 3 mil profit. So we're up to what, like 10.5 mil or something already on a single item in under an hour. Like I said, the margin has changed again. We've sold another 2 for a slightly different margin. I think we got 1.4 mil on these 2 right now. Hopefully it settles down a little bit. Okay, another Truver Parchment flip coming in for around 700k. Not bad. Oh my goodness, we bought one for 5 mil. I wanted to do a price check on the item again, and oh boy, I don't know about that one. We may lose a bit of money on this, although it didn't even sell for 3 mil, which means we most likely can maybe get a insane margin on these right now. I'm going to try selling him for 4,900, but we may have to undercut that a bit. This is really dicey. Well, look at that. We ended up selling 3 of them for 4,400. That is so good. That was actually closer to around 4 mil in profit, considering the very first one we lost about 400k on, as we price checked it at 5 mil. I've never seen a margin on an item be that large and this cheap. So yeah, around 4.5 mil in profit off of what we got so far, and we have 2 more attempting to sell for 4,300 and more buying all the time. Okay, unfortunately that margin disappeared fairly quickly. We have 2 more we're selling at around 2,700 or 2,600 each, which means I think we made another 1.4 mil so far. And we're selling off even more for 2,700. Okay, so they're selling off fairly quickly. I think we have another 600k profit or something like that. It is pretty hard to keep track of all of this as the prices are changing all the time. I'm doing a price check occasionally, and we are flipping other items at the same time here, but there's just so much going on. I don't think it's worth tracking that, but we actually are doing pretty well on some of these other items. Okay, first up here, we had another 5 of the parchments sold. And I think we actually made about 3 mil in profit off of those, getting around a 600k margin. We must be above 20 mil in profit. And again, it's only been about 3 hours since I started doing this. There we go, another 4 true parchments sold for around 2.4 mil in profit. It just keeps going. We are flipping some other things like ancestrals, where we're investing like 100 times the amount of money. Okay, we just sold another 5 parchments for another 2.4 mil in profit, I believe. And we have more coming through. Hopefully soon we'll be able to do an actual check on how much money we have. I think next time we'll be able to sell everything off, hopefully. Oh my god, we're up to 274 mil cash. That is so amazing. Okay, there we go. We have sold everything off. I believe we made around 3 mil on the parchments. But we can actually go ahead and see how much money we're at. I have no idea because I've just been focused on flipping the true parchments all day. But let's go ahead and claim everything. I think we actually have been doing pretty well on some of the other items as well. I got a 1 mil margin on a Justiciar face guard, but oh, look at that. We're above 300 mil. We're up to 307 mil, just like that. We just shot up there. That is legitimately weeks worth of progress done in hours. Look at this. We just bought 10 of the parchments for 1,500 and sold them for 2,200. We just made 6.9 mil on this single item. We sold 10 more for a lower margin, but that's still 3 mil there at 10 mil in profit off of the parchments, and everything is sold off, so we can directly see how much money we're at now. This is a bit later in the day, but the margin is still wild, extremely uncertain, but really I'm taking advantage of that, and we're up to 317 mil. We just made another 10 mil. This has been by far the best flipping opportunity I have had on this account. And we're going to continue on with it. We're doing price checks more frequently now. We're buying them for 2678 and selling them for 2200. That's still a really good margin of around 450k. It still does not appear that there are any Swift swords in the game right now. Otherwise, I may have actually tried one of them. Next up here, we have a 7.2 mil profit on more of the pages. Just an absolutely amazing margin, and we have bought and sold a lot of them. I may not leave them in overnight as that will be a bit risky, but I don't know, I'm feeling kind of risky now. Everything's just been working out. Famous last words, I guess, but you know what, screw it. Let's go ahead and put an offer in, lowballing the pages overnight at around 1,100. So before bed, we're going to fill up our offer slots. What an amazing day. I think that's probably the most profitable day of flipping I've had ever, or at least on this account. So we're going to leave, again, the true parchments in overnight, as well as a few other flips. But again, it all seems like peanuts compared to our main boy, the parchment. Okay, this is the morning. We didn't end up buying any overnight, but we woke up pretty early and we've already flipped another 6.1 mil worth of the parchments, as well as we're getting some pretty good margins on the Elder Maul and the Cape of Skulls. The Elder Maul is going a little crazy because of the potential update that might get to it. We're going to do a price check on the item, down to 2 mil into 1613. Still good. Considering it's been out for a day and a half now, that's not that bad. Well, look at that. A ton more money was made. We did so many of the parchments. The margin is less, like maybe 300 to 400k is what I was getting, but I just flipped so many of them. I think we got a flip of 4.6 mil, another flip of 5.8 mil, and another one of 1.7, which in total I think we got 12.2 mil in profit, which I still can't believe. That is just so much money for so little work. Look at all those parchments in our GE history, along with a ton of other items, which honestly is probably making us a fair bit of money as well. Okay, so it's the end of the night, and I actually did buy a Swift Sword, or at least Swift Blade, I should say. Oh my god, have I been saying Swift Sword this entire time? Well, anyway, it's a 1 mil margin, and I'm going to leave it in overnight. It's such a bad idea. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm just on such a good luck streak. Even if I lost like 10 mil, it still would not matter. And who knows, maybe it will do one of those crazy movements where it'll drop and then go wildly up. I don't know. We're just going to take a risk on it. That being said, I should drop it down to just 1 sword. We also have around 18 of the parchments, but we're going to hopefully sell those overnight. A little worried about that. But anyway, guys, let's wake up tomorrow. It's going to be the last day. Let's see how much money we make on this, and we'll see our total profit for today's episode. Okay, it is the morning of August 31st, the last day of the month, and well, I want to show you guys something. Look at that. Oh my god, that was such a mistake. It was for 15 mil I could have sold it for, but somehow I put it in for 1500, and I literally just lost 17 mil on the Swift Blade. Plus probably a little bit more on the Truver parchments. That being said, I still think we made a ton of money. But anyway, let's go ahead and collect everything. That is what I'm really interested in. Let's see how much money we ended up making on the episode. Keeping in mind we just lost 17 mil. Oh my god, 350 mil. We literally made 100 mil this week. Probably 80 of it in the last day or two. And we would have been 17 mil higher. But we fucked up. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed. It was a crazy week. I don't think we're going to have anything like this in the near future, but really getting on these new items early can be so profitable, and it worked out quite well for me. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.